The Minnesota Vikings in Week 16 take on the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. Ooh.
Going to the Pacific Northwest.
Ooh.
Seattle's reeling off a bad loss to Green Bay.
Bad.
They now have another NFC North opponent in the Vikings. Their kryptonite? Who knows?
Sucks for them. You know, they got to run through the NFC North. It's a tough division.
And without Geno, or maybe without Geno, do they have a shot?
Ooh, let's get into that in a minute.
And welcome back to another episode of the BuiBros Football Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Quinn Bowie, and I, of course, cheer for the LA Chargers. Across from me, my brother, Brandon.
And I cheer for the Minnesota Vikings. Woo! Yeah, is Geno going to play? That's the question. So, early reports is that they're optimistic that he will play. He did not sustain a significant knee injury, but he still hurt his knee in some capacity. And when he did, you know, we don't want any injuries, but let's say he doesn't play. Sam Howell looked absolutely horrible. And I like Sam Howell. I am a Sam Howell fan. But Sam Howell looked really bad. Like, really bad. It was not a pretty sight. And now I'm seeing, should the Seahawks play Jaron Hall instead if Geno Smith can't play? And I didn't even know Jaron Hall was on that team.
Go for it. Yeah, you're like, go for it.
We know Jaron Hall. We know what he is, what he isn't. He could develop over the season, but we hope Geno plays. That's who we want to beat. We want to beat the guy, so we hope Geno plays. We hope he's healthy. But yeah, I don't think Jaron's gonna play. It would likely be Sam Howell, and if he can get some reps in the first team, this week, that would be ideal for him. So, but we'll see. Quarterbacks aside. Maybe no Canine in the game. Charbonnet has looked pretty good the last two games.
No Canine is huge. Yeah. I mean, seeing Charbonnet, step up to the plate, that next man up mentality, it's been great, and maybe that'll entice Mike Macdonald and the Seahawks to use more of that 1-2 punch approach. That's really becoming effective for a lot of teams this year. Take a lot of the pressure off of Geno, whoever quarterback is there. Utilize that defense that Mike Macdonald's known for. That's the best shot at a potential victory. It really is going to be tough. Geno, that first piece, Canine, that potential second. It's going to be a rough week for Seahawks fans. What I foresee anyway.
Yeah, but they still have our defense is great at preventing them from getting points, but they do let them drive every once in a while. Right. And DK, JSN, Lockett still, they've still got great wide receivers. JSN has been unreal as well. So
yeah, another 10 catch performance last week.
Yeah. DK, I don't know if he's had too many big games as of late. You don't really hear about him too much, but he's always got that potential.
He was injured there a little bit too. I feel like DK always has these lull periods where, maybe he's gotten a little bit of trouble because of his aggression or his showboating, whatever the case may be. They pull him back a little bit. He needs time to settle, get back to form, rinse and repeat. It's like that graph. This is what happens with DK. You are here.
Yeah, and we hope that he doesn't go back to his old awesome self. In this game, this isn't one of his comeback games. So, but it's also in front of their home crowd. I think they were at home last week too against the Packers. I think. That was one of the things too. And Aaron Rodgers came out and said it as well, that it was just, you could hear Packers fans on the broadcast. Like, they were loud. And I've heard that a couple times this season, that the 12th man does not exist at all this season. Apparently they've just been kind of priced out. That's what I've seen, that it's like a new type of fan that is is able to buy tickets to these games.
Right.
And so that's a little unfortunate, but Vikings have been traveling extremely well this year. So I expect the Vikings to kind of take over that stadium, as they did both times. Actually, just the one away game that I went to this year. So I expect it to not feel like so much of an away game, which will be nice. But yeah, so that's the offense for the Seahawks. The defense. Oh, actually, another point in the offense is apparently they've got like a bottom 3 O line. Like, it's bad. You watch that game, Gino was getting like he had guys in his face in a second, and then Howell was getting blown up too. Like, they just couldn't release the ball fast enough. So hopefully that's great, because Grenard is top 3 or something in pressures, top 5 in sacks, I think. So yeah, we'll be watching him. We'll be seeing him hopefully just dice up that O line. That'll be pretty sweet. Yeah. But okay, yeah. Then the Seahawks defense, I think, is just kind of average. I don't think that they're anything special.
Yeah, no, I mean, points against. So when we look at the difference, points for Seahawks, 315, points against 313. Their home record is way worse than their away record. So, a lot working for you. Especially like you guys, your point differential, huge. You've got one cohesive unit. The Seahawks are still finding their way under first-year head coach Mike McDaniel. A lot of promising things going on for them, but this seems like one of those games where it could be sneaky high scoring. For all that's going wrong with their offense, your offense is working wonders. Your defense is giving them more opportunities. You guys are going to get yours. They're going to have to play catch up, and I believe that they have the pieces to do so. Again, let's see what happens with Gino, though.
Yeah.
If it's Sam Howell, very different story.
Yeah, well, Sam Howell is a gunslinger too, right? Like, he's going to throw it up there and let his guys, have a chance at that ball. Unless it's some egregious errant pass, that's an interception or something like that. But for the most part, he's a gunslinger. Like, I think his last season in Washington, he was 21 touchdowns, 21 interceptions. The classic, I guess a little low for Jameis numbers, but yeah. So the line in this game, I think they're expecting Gino to play, because we're 3.5 point favorites. Where I think that we should be a little bit higher than that. And then they're saying that the over-under is 42.5 points, which I think I'm with you. I could see it being high scoring, a lot of scoring in the second half type of thing. Maybe it's a little slow early, but then we're both going to get up to the 25, 20, like we're going to get up into the mid-20s each team. I think it'll be a tight game. This is one of those one-score games for sure, in my mind.
Yeah, I just take a step back, looking at the Seahawks defense. I got to give respect where respect is due, right? Devin Witherspoon and Tariq Woolen, their corners out there.
Yeah.
Were they both drafted last year? I'm pretty sure. If not, Tariq was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But he was like one of those late round gems that just popped off and is leading that secondary. And Devin Witherspoon, I believe he got hurt last year, but he was one of the top 10, 15 picks of the draft. So those guys are going to be putting pressure on the outside. Of course, you've got JJ, who no matter who he's against, when they team up on him, that's a different story. But Jordan Addison's going to need to continue his great run here. Hawk is going to need to be able to step up some more as well. Aaron Jones had a great game last week after some time off.
Yeah.
Over the few weeks prior.
Yeah.
So let's keep him going. Cam Akers is getting his.
The run game is starting to click a little bit after, like you said, some time off. And so that's something that's actually really, really important, because there's a lot of play action and long developing plays in the KOC playbook. And a good run game helps a lot with setting up that play action. We had a play action pass this past game that was actually very interesting. in which Darnold, they were going the one way. It wasn't even like he did a fake handoff and then, bootlegged out or something like that. It was just the play design was very well executed, or well drawn up, and then the players executed it well. And you could tell this last game, this is a little bit different topic, but that the players were playing smart. I could just feel like, oh, that was a nice little play there. And the broadcast kept pointing it out too. Oh, that was good that he fell that way. That was good that he did this over here. Like even when we had David Quessenberry come in to fill in for Brian O'Neill, because Brian O'Neill hurt his knee, which doesn't seem to be significant either. He ended up coming back in the game. But the first play there, you could just see David Quessenberry had his guy, and he's the next man up, but he still held his own. But even if he didn't, the Dalton Reisner, the right guard, comes in out of nowhere because he's got no one to block anymore. So he comes in and just pancakes the guy that Quessenberry is blocking. Just as a team, they're just clicking and they're helping each other out, and they feel like they feel like brothers. You know what I mean? Like they feel like brothers, and they're there to help each other out, and that's the vibe of the team right now. And they're playing so tight and so cohesive. JJ's. They're all unselfish is what it is. Nobody cares about their individual stuff. Aaron Jones, every other game, he has a fumble here or there, and the whole team's got his back, the coach included, and they bring him back in, and they say, don't worry about it. Get this touchdown here. And he has gotten a touchdown like every time he does that. And just to say, hey, we got you still. You're still our man. You know what I mean? Like it's just they're playing really well, and they're playing really smart because they're helping each other out. They're not thinking about themselves. So it's smart football. And you can just feel it even as an amateur watcher, you know what I mean? Like I'm not overly technical with all the stuff. You can still just feel as a fan that they're playing the right way. So it's good.
Well, 100%. And that cohesiveness, that one unit mentality, that brotherhood that you speak of, it's showing up in the stat sheet. It's showing up on the scorecard.
Yeah.
And most importantly, it's showing up in the win column.
Yeah.
Like this isn't like the Vikings from a couple seasons ago where you won a lot of games, but it was on very questionable games and outcomes. Some definite luck drawn up in there.
Yeah. 13-4 and with a -2 point differential somehow, and now we're 12-2 with I think plus 117 or something like that. I think is what we're
right.
So a mile of difference, right? So
yes, yeah, absolutely. And I, as much as I want to be
up here with us.
Yeah, no, that's not what I was going to say. I was going to say I much want to be a stickler in this week's predictions because the way you treated the Chargers.
But you're going to be honest. You're just going to be honest, just like I was.
Yes, that's exactly it. I'm going to be honest. Brandon, your week. Why don't you start us off with that prediction?
Okay, like I mentioned, I said like they're going to both get up into those mid-20s. It's going to be more than the 42.5 that is projected. I think it will be another 30-point game for the Vikings, but instead of 12, we'll double it up to 24. So 30-24. I believe that the Seahawks are a much better team than the Bears, and so they'll score double the points. So 30-24 for the Vikings.
30-24. I like it. And you know what? I was also like, I like your 30.
You like 30?
I like your 30, okay. And you 30-24. That would be interesting. I was thinking there, but no. I was going 30-22. 30-22 for the Vikings is what I see. I see the Seahawks rallying back, getting in position, getting that potential field goal or score to get it within 8.
They go for 2 somewhere, you know what I mean? Because they had to. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's it. 30-22 for the Vikings. Vikings match that win total from a couple of seasons ago with 2 games left. Good shot to continue the momentum. And like you said, you're chasing that 1 seed. And I believe that you absolutely can get it. That Week 18 matchup, sweet.
Yeah, that will be sweet. So, okay, there's the predictions. Let us know what you think. Right?
Yeah. Vikings gonna win, right? Skol, baby, Skol. But if you are still with us, thank you so much. We do appreciate it. if you are a fan of the Vikings, of the Chargers, of the NFL in general, please consider subscribing to the channel, liking that video, hitting the notification bell. It really does help us out. Lets us know you love talking the NFL each and every day, each and every week, just like Brandon and I do. All right, Brandon, send us off.
Okay, everybody, let's do a Skol first for the 13-2 Skol Bolts, baby.
A Skol Bolts.
Maybe that's the thing. Hey?
Boom. Ooh, that's gonna be like the end of our handshake.
Yeah, we gotta figure something out. Okay, everybody, we'll talk next week after 2 wins. 1 for the Chargers, 1 for the Vikings. Peace.